my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and these are the hottest Golden Age comics for the week. First book on the list is an interesting one because it's almost personal to me, because this one I actually own, and I bought a raw copy for the exact amount that this one sold for. So it was kind of interesting to see this sale. So this is Miss America #2. It's a timely book from 1944. It is actually the first appearance of Patsy Walker, who later becomes Hellcat. And it's a great photo cover. Dolores Clortis is the person on the cover. And just she was like a 15-year-old, pretty girl. And it's a great photo cover, like early cosplay cover. So just a really interesting book. A lot of the Miss America ones kind of had photo covers, and it was a kind of a comic magazine. It was a very interesting thing, and it was geared towards girls. But Patsy Walker became Hellcat, which is interesting. So she had that kind of crossover character kind of arc. This was a 4.0 that sold, and it sold for $2,051, which is the same as what I paid for my raw copy. I think my raw copy is a 4.0 as well, actually. So this was a 4.0, and this is actually way down. So when I bought mine, I thought I actually got a steal on mine. The previous record for this book was set back in November of 2021 for $4,080. And then there was actually a 2.5 that sold for $2,949 in May of 2023. So this is actually even lower by almost $1,000 than the 2.5. So that's really a weak sale for this one, and it was an auction. It just didn't get the price that you would have expected. So really, somebody got a really good steal on this one, about half what it should have gone for, maybe a little bit more than half. So interesting, interesting sale. So there's only 31 of these on the census, and 27 of them are Universal Blue Labels. So just a hard book to find, and somebody got a major steal on that one. Number 9 on the list is Strange Stories from Another World, number 5. This is a Fawcett 1952. It's Norm Sanders cover, and he's known for these really cool, very realistic painted covers. And this is actually the last issue of the series, but it features a lot of cool things. It looks like somebody's like doing like a Book of the Dead, or has like this sort of satanic book, maybe summoning the devil, which is behind the guy. And you got the good girl, you got skeletons. It's got kind of a lot of cool themes going on. Just a really great book. This was a 5.0 that sold, and it sold for $278.89. So we'll round it to $279. but yeah, great sale. This is down as well. The previous record for this book was set back in September of 2021 for $456. So another steal. I don't know what's going on. But there's 23 of these on the census, and 22 of them are Universal Blue Labels. So watch your auctions, people. There's like some really great books that people are not bidding on. Number 8 on the list is another really great one. This is Voodoo number 12. It's from Farrell, 1953. And it features this like witch dangling like a giant witch dangling a woman in a red dress, of course, over an open flame, and she's like torturing this woman. It's just really cool, crazy cover. Now this was a 3.5 that sold, and it sold for $431. This is up slightly. The previous record was set back in January of 2022 for $346. So it's up about $100 almost from the prior record. Now the highest grade for this book is actually a 7.5, and those sell for around $3,600. So buying these lower grades sometimes makes it affordable. But if you think about it, if you go by the price per point, you would have expected this book to be closer to like $1,800. So a bit of interesting thing there. But there's just, as I said, these the highest grades usually go a little bit crazy with the pricing. But interesting that you can, that it was sold for so cheap. I looked at actually on eBay for this book because after I was like, wow, that's such a cool book. And people have them listed at quite high prices. So been very interesting sale. Again, I almost feel like it was a bit of a steal, even though it is a record. There are 32 of these on the census, and 30 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Mickey Mouse Magazine, Volume 3, Number 4. This is from Walt Disney, 1938. It is a magazine format, but it is a comic book. It's actually interesting because it features Snow White inside and the Seven Dwarfs before the movie was released. So this is almost like a preview to the 1938 movie. So very interesting book. It features also very cool Goofy and Donald Duck cover for New Year's. So this was a 7.0 that sold, and it sold for $466, which is way down, which is way down, because the previous record for 7.0 was set back in December of 2021 for $600. And you would have expected this book to actually have gone up. Even a 3.0, which is like half the grade, sold for $350. So I would have expected this book to sell for around $700. And that 3.0 that sold for $350 actually sold back in December of 2020. So 700 plus, I would have actually expected this one per point to have gone for. And usually actually after a 6.0, there's a bit of a spike in the prices. So really, really, somebody got a major steal on this one too. It's like steal, 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 steal. I don't know what's going on. Next one on the list is Action Comics 25. This is an interesting one. This is DC Comics 1940. It is a Wayne Boring cover, and it's not a great cover, actually. It's Superman. He's kind of flying over this boat. Not a great cover in my opinion, but, if you like it, you like it. But this one's interesting because it was a 5.0 restored copy. And I'm not sure why it got restored, because actually the cover is married, and it was married with glue. It's kind of interesting. And it sold for $1,000. Now, that's interesting because usually in a 5.0 range, you get about 50% to 60% of the value of Blue Label. Now, the Blue Label sold for around $2,000 in 2020. So it's kind of in that range. You would sort of expect that. But that's 2020 price. So you'd expect maybe a little bit up. So this was not a steal per se, but a little bit less than you would expect. It is a new record, though, for a restored 5.0. But it's about half what the Blue Labels sell for, which is kind of in line, but I think somebody got a pretty good deal on this book. There are 71 of these on the census, and 50 of them are Universal Blue Labels. It just shows you how many are restored when it's like a third of the census. Number 5 on the list is Submariner number 12. It's Timely 1944. It's an Alex Schomburg cover, and it's a great Nazi cover. It's like it's got all the twisted metal, and it's like Nazis shooting from all different directions, and it's just really it's classic Alex Schomburg with all the details and things going on the cover. This was a 2.0 that sold, and it sold for $1,201.78. We'll round it to $1,202. This is the highest sale for this book in this grade. However, when we look at the prices for other grades and do kind of the per point math, this is not a strong sale. A 3.0 sold for $2,280 in October of 2023, and a 3.5 sold for $3,220 in March of 2022. So this book, per point wise, you would expect it to sell for around $1,400. So that $1,200 sale is actually a little bit under what you would have expected. And generally at the lower grades, you actually get a little bit more per point than the mid grades. There's a lot of price compression usually in the low grades. But somebody got a good price on this one. So $1,200. I would have expected $1,400, but they did well. Somebody did well. Another steal on the list. So there's 47 of these on the census, and 39 of them are Universal Blue Labels. The next one on the list is not going to be a steal, so we can't have all steals. But this one is an interesting one. This is Flying Saucers #1, and it's a first printing. Now, Avon actually released Flying Saucers #1 in 1949 originally, and there was like these searchlights in the background. Then they released a 1952 version, which doesn't have the searchlights in the background. But it is a Gene Fawcett cover, and it features an alien invasion. It's kind of got these weird green aliens coming down, and it's a very cool cover. Now, this one was a 7.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,615. So that was a really strong sale. The previous record for this book in this grade was $1,135.25 back in 2016. But however, in a 7.0 just sold recently in December of 2023 for $660. So this is like way above what the 7.0 had sold for. Even a 8.0 had sold for only $1,560 in 2020. So this was a very strong sale for this book. Somebody paid up for it. There are 59 of these on the census, and 51 of them are Universal Blue Labels. The next one is another strong sale. This is #3 on the list, Romantic Adventures #50. But there's a lot to this sale, and I'll get into it. This is from ACG 1954. It's an Ogden Whitney cover, and it's a classic cover. It has the love of a lunatic on the cover, and it's this woman is sort of with a yellow face behind bars, and she looks just deranged. And it's such a iconic cover for a romance book. That's the interesting thing about it, that it's within a romance title. It looks almost pre-code horror because of her crazed face, and it's in a romance title, which is very odd. It's very jarring for a romance book to have this kind of crazy cover. So very interesting sale. This was a 5.0 that sold, and it sold for a best offer. Now, the original price was $3,710. So quite high price, actually. That would have been a massive record if it sold for that price. Now, the best offer that was accepted on this book was $2,850, almost $1,000 off that price. And this is actually still the highest record sale recorded for this book across the census, across all grades. But this book is very interesting in that it does not sell that often. And we got to look into the numbers a little bit to really understand whether this is a strong sale or just a reasonable sale. And I would go more on the reasonable sale than strong sale. And I'll give you my reasoning for that. The previous sale for 5.0 was set back in 2020 for $1,380. So it's way above that previous sale of $1,380. However, a 4.5 sold in 2023 for $2,100. And this book has been kind of on an upswing for a while. There's been a lot of private sales, and I've actually personally bought it in a private sale. And I've seen raw copies in really low grades sell for high prices. So I would have expected this book to be around that $2,500 to $2,800 range. So it's kind of still a strong sale, but not as high as you might think. It's not as, it is double the previous record, but it's sort of in line with what you would expect for this book. So somebody did well on that one. There's only 24 of these on the census. That's another reason it doesn't sell that often. And all of them are universal blue labels. Just, it's one that you don't see that often. And the sales are really sparse. So it does make it one that people will often overpay when it does come up, because they want to get it. And it is a classic cover. The fact that it is in a romance title gives it that extra interest, because it's so like non-fitting for a romance title. So it's just really interesting. Number 2 on the list is USA Comics number 15. It's actually Captain America in USA Comics 15. That's the full title. But this is a timely 1945 book. It's another Alex Schomburg cover. And it's actually interesting. It's like Affinity's store. So it's like, instead of Tiffany's, it's like Tiffany's, but it's Phillies. And it's an interesting one because it's like a jewelry store, a whole bunch of guys with guns, machine guns, and Captain America stopping the crime. Very cool cover. Again, Alex Schomburg is all about details, and there's lots of action and details happening in this cover. This was a 9.0 that sold, which is an incredible grade for this book. And it sold for $4,055. The previous record for this book was set only a few days ago. so I don't know what happened. Maybe it was like a sale and then resale after. But the previous record was set for $4,050. So it's gone up $5 from what it sold for in March. It sold March 29th, 2024. So about a month ago. For $5 less. So somebody either flipped it, or I'm not sure what happened, but or just relisted it and it just happened to get $5 more. I don't know what happened, but if they flipped it and tried to make $5, that's not the greatest. But a really interesting sale. Now there was actually a sale for $8,500 that went for $2,822 back in December of 2020. So this is kind of in line with what you would expect a 9.0 to sell for. But just an interesting sale. I thought it was funny that it went for $5 more than what it sold for a few weeks ago. There are 32 of these on the census, and 26 of them are universal blue labels. Number 2 on the list. Number 1 on the list. We're up to number 1 now. This is actually another major steal. It's like, I think this week is the week of steals, week of deals to be found in the golden age, because this was Detective Comics number 58. This is from DC Comics 1941. It is the first appearance of the Penguin, and I've had this book on the list before, and it's a major book that I'd love to have. I liked getting these first appearances of major Batman rogues gallery. So Batman 1 would be like the Joker. Well, the next big one would be the Penguin, in terms of major golden age villains for Batman. And the Penguin, Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot is just one of these characters that people love. I mean, he's like one of the major characters for Batman. And this was a 1.8 that sold, and it sold for $5,250. A lot of money. But this one's an interesting one, because the previous record for this book, and it is a new record, even though I say it might be a steal, the previous record was set back in 2018. so 6 years ago, and it sold for $3,355 back then. However, since that time, a lot has happened, and the Penguin has gone up in value. There was actually a 1.0 that just recently sold back in 2022 for $9,622, so almost twice what this 1.8 sold for. Now, in the lower grades, you'll get some price compression, but you won't get it that way, where the lower grades sell for more than the higher grades. I was shocked by this price. It was actually a sale that it was a buy it now on eBay actually, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I was almost tempted to buy it myself, but I didn't have $5,000 to buy, so because it was just such a great price. Somebody got a steal. I think it was a steal, because really in a 818 it should have been around $11,000. I would say 10 to 11,000. You know, there is a lot of price compression in those lower grades, but 5,000, that's just a really great price. Somebody did well on that one. There are 94 universal blue labels and 118 altogether on the census for this book. Just a really interesting one. What did you think of this week? I mean, what's going on? So many steals. It is a week of steals, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing it a lot where you're able to pick up some really great deals in any of the ages. It looked like things were stabilizing. Now I'm not so sure anymore. And actually, for a long time, even most of this year, the golden age had been fairly strong. It's been where people have been shifting their money. But now it seems like people are trying to pull that money back out. I don't know what's going on. So interesting week. What do you think? What do you think is happening with the market? And I'd love to hear your opinion. Put it in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.